All right, greetings, thanks for joining us. It's 12:30. All right, so do time traveling timelines or timeline shifting, something around those lines. Those that do time travel, and also Mandela effect. What does you can say that's connected to time travel to a certain level. Mandela effect is I don't think I haven't done that in probably a long time, but yeah, it's just basically moving from one version of Earth to another, things like that. And Arctic Circle energies, that's where all the aliens are to a certain level. But yeah, time travel energies, just tap into their consciousness and see what they have to say about our reality. Of course, we are kind of going into this manipulative World War III. Doesn't mean that'll happen. If it does, we'll just get kicked to somewhere else. We'll just be sent somewhere else. It doesn't really matter. Not much we can do about it anyway. Yeah, it's not something you can really worry about. It's most likely just more manipulation. So yeah, eventually I'll have an announcement of changes coming here. Some people might not like it, but that's tough. I just don't know anything yet. So things are changing, and we'll see. I can't go into details right now. It's too early to tell. I just have to let things happen the way they need to. But yeah, it's just, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, some people are not going to be happy about it, but it's just tough. Oh, well. So, yeah, I say a change in direction, but not just yet. So everything is going to be the same as it is for now, but it won't last forever. So, just the way it is. So, all right, so going to Avatar.com, private sessions, maybe. We have a scheduler, we have the shop here, sort of. I don't know where I'm in, like January 10th or something like that. The webinars, social network, and behind the scenes. So yeah, just when I know more, I'll have an announcement video of when I know something. It'll be major. Yeah, there'll be major changes here. But like I said, it's not time yet, apparently. But it's coming. I just don't know when. So, all right. All right, we're going to time traveling energies, Mandela effect, and the Arctic Circle. And if anybody else wants to come through, I feel our Arcturian energy there. Yeah. So, so time traveling consciousness. For this week, I haven't done one of these energy readings for the week, like in ages. Yeah, it's kind of like it's all over the place. It's like our timeline doesn't know what it's doing. I mean, there is a change in the timeline, yes, but there's a lot of changes occurring behind the scenes. Let's put it that way. Not necessarily a bad thing, just maybe not everybody will agree upon it. Of course, that's the way it goes. So, all right. Yeah, it's also a timeline for prosperity for some individuals that have been in decline for a long time. So that'll be good. So, all right. Blessings. Go into time travel and consciousness. All right. Blessings. Greetings. We have time traveling consciousness from your future. Basically, there's different realities that you're tapping into on a daily basis. At least 12 realities are going. There's more, but it's usually around 12. Basically, you can choose what direction. Of course, you can't always realize it here in the physical because you're not intended to. It's basically you always have all these different opportunities. You can say it happens second by second, but we don't want to overload you too much. As you know, life can change in a moment, right? So you have all these different, so that can get kind of confusing. That can be overwhelming. So to give you a more accurate connection, so every moment, every second or millisecond, there's a timeline attached to it. So, and it's a constant thread of timelines where you lead up to a change or you decline a change. You say yes, I want this to happen, and or you say no. So all of a sudden, it's like you're going to go on this event, you're going to go somewhere, and then you change it. Uh, like there's an event you want to go to, you want to fly out of state, and then you feel the vibrations of it. You kind of even go into the future to see what it feels like if you were there. And it's like, yeah, this isn't going to work. So then you decide not to go. So yeah, you travel. Now you can call it astral travel. You can call it whatever you want, but you do once it's set in stone in the physical of a possibility, at least that like an event, for example. Then you travel to it astrally. You can go to anywhere astrally, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen here in the physical. When the physical gives the okay and you start seeing it happen in the physical, then it's easier to see it more clearly in the astral plane. Maybe not exactly, you don't have all the details of it. But yes, many do decide to, without going into too much details, because you can go into details that might make even some people uncomfortable. Well, because it comes down to exit points also. Those that wish to exit this reality, they can see it astrally, and of course, when they get close to it, they can feel it too. And but then they can say no to it. It's like I'm about to leave the world. It's like, I changed my mind. I'll just stay here for another 20 years or whatever it might be. So, and when you do that, there's a reason for it. It's not just a torture. It might be torturous. It might be hard, but there's a reason for it. And sometimes if you have children, you stay here for the children. So if you have children here, you might not be getting along with each other. It might be a really difficult life, but you're here anyway. It's like that's really showing a good parent. It's like your child might not want anything to do with you, but you send that child love. That's a big deal. And because there's much more going on than what's on the surface. So, but as for your manifesting timelines, anybody can technically manifest, of course, but doesn't mean that you want to. There's different reasons for it because it depends on what manifestation brings to you. Like you can manifest something and you actually decline as a soul. You can actually go backwards. So, and some are okay with that. And some are growing. I mean, they're learning their manifesting ability. Some are just obsessed with it. But some do get kind of lost with it. But it can cause you difficulties. So basically, if you're not focusing on your manifestation, you can focus on it. It's like your main focus is being yourself and just who you are and what you want to. Like you're manifesting education, knowledge. Knowledge might not be the most exciting. Of course, knowledge is in everything. Knowledge is in relationships. It's in everything. Owning animals, where you live is knowledge and all attributes of existence. So it's all on how you want to look at it. Yes, there's many souls here that can't handle the physical reality. And so yes, they go off into space. They go and connect to the aliens. They see what the aliens are having for dinner. They love the aliens. And they can't seem to it becomes an obsession. Is it entertainment? It's more like an obsession than it is entertainment. Well, it's just basically they feel like it can get very strange there. I'm not going into all details, We're actually being careful what we say here. For time travel energies, every being has a version of it. Astrally, it's not really called time travel because you just do it naturally. So it's like you're just, I don't really have a word for it. You just visit your timeline. You go to the future, you go to the past, you go look what others are doing. It's kind of like going to the mall and you're just seeing all these different, directions you can go. So you go to someone else's energy, see what they're doing, take some notes. It's like, oh, okay, you have that incarnation, you have that experience. It's like, do I want to add that to my lifetime when I'm here? And so on. It's kind of like you're planning for a trip, but you're using your own timeline to do it. Yes, you connect to the Astral GPS, you see how long it takes to get there. You just look at your reality totally different than you do now. Now you don't have to focus on these things, but some of you might be able to tap into your astral selves, looking at possible realities. Like, is it better for you to be single? Is it better for you to be married? Does it really matter? Does any of that even matter? For some, it does because it brings them some kind of identity. It helps them ground themselves to this reality. But others is like, yeah, but I've done that in previous lifetimes, and it didn't do anything back then. What's it gonna do for me now? So the single lifetime here, or not wanting a relationship, is you're digging deep into yourself, basically. No distractions. It's like you're going into your shadow, you're going deep into who you are for various different reasons. And now, how far do you get is another story. You might not feel like you're getting anywhere because you might not want to see what's there, but at least you're trying, even if there's not much done there. We don't have to go too much details on that, but either way, the time traveling frequency, there's a different way of looking at time traveling vibrations. The timeline energies, timelines are like musical, like strings on a guitar. For example, they have a rhythm, they have different sounds. Everybody has their own sounds, their own timeline. And yes, of course, you are interlinked to each other. Of course, you're on this planet. So all your timelines are interconnected in some way. Yeah, somebody might sneeze on another part of the world and you might feel it. Or you say something or think something that somebody on the other side of the world didn't like. Eventually that becomes more clear. You think social media is bad. When your telepathic abilities start opening up more, it'll be a bombardment of messages. You have to turn that off. That's why it's turned off for a reason. It can be overwhelming, but when you become more aware of it, you're opening up on a line talking to each other. But when you start opening up your telepathic connections, you haven't seen nothing yet. Lessons. Brings you with that consciousness of the Mandela effect, which many of you have been through. Not everyone needs to pay attention to it, but change is good. So if you notice the Mandela effect, usually afterwards, it's normally for a good reason, though. Yes, you can say you're avoiding a timeline, or just the timeline does not do it for you, whatever it might be. Many do avoid timelines. Like they say, okay, this timeline isn't going anywhere, so you switch to another one. We also wanted a different title of a book or cereal has a different name, whatever it might be. And it also shows that the spirit realms are speaking to you. There's different reasons why. It shows you that the spirit realm is active and you're picking up on it. So you're connecting more to the spiritual side of yourself. It's like, I like to see more Mandela effects if possible. And they're not going to bombard you with it. Sometimes they can, but a lot of times just to let you know that there's the unknown here. And it's easy to grasp, and well, technically. But you also see how this was been weaponized in the past. Not just the human here this version of human, yes, open up the doors to so many different beings who cause difficulties here. It's kind of like calling in your in-laws and then they living with you forever. And they're not happy with anything that you're doing, always criticizing you. And it's like it's a never-ending battle. So think like this world has opened up its doors to beings that are just overly criticizing your society. So your society gets lost. Of course, there's other ways of looking at it. There's always different points of view. But basically, your planet or consciousness. Now, is it Mother Earth or is it the people here? It's a combination of both. Mother Earth also has her own difficulties. She's getting tired herself, but this is going to go on as long as it needs to. Now, the dangerous side of the human does come from the ape beings, reptilian beings, it's the pig energies, uh, insectoid beings that are just toxic, at least part of their DNA. So, and that's part of your animal kingdom that's here. So to have all of this at once is quite the experience. It's like you're kind of walked into a buffet of just the shadow of many different alien species. So as you evolve, these alien species evolve too. Now it means that they're going to have a perfect reality, because if you're going through troubles, other beings are going through it too. Like the ape beings, the gorillas go through a great deal. Even the canines, the cats, they all have their own shadows, and you're going through it with them. Everyone's going through it together. So there's cat worlds are going through difficulties, canine worlds are going through difficulties, and so you're far from alone. It might feel like you're alone here. I mean, you're not technically alone. You have animals here. You have people here. We also have animals, and some of these animals look very strange, especially when you go into the oceans, where it gets really bizarre. When you go into the oceans, you see these type of strange creatures, and their lives are very simplistic. Of course, the animals on your reality on land are pretty simplistic, but not really. There's a lot that goes on in their minds, actually. So the mind is thinking a lot. But when you go into the ocean, basically, it's more simpler to some level. And so they can see things a little bit differently. They can see the astral realms more clearly, because they don't have to deal with all the human difficulties. So the oceans, as polluted as it is, it's still helping your reality. It is simplifying things, even if humans don't simplify anything. Would it be easier if you were just ocean creatures? Not really. You'll find a way to make that complicated too. The mer people have it difficult. It's also. So if you're a mer person and you connect to a seahorse, a seahorse can see all of your problems very easily, because they're just living a life as a seahorse. They're not worrying about what other people are thinking and all that. So they can see what you're going through and even help you out of it if you wish to be out of it. So that's why your spirit realm seems so simple, because it is. The humans just packed in everything they can. It's kind of like a sandwich. It sandwiches itself with all these ingredients. So instead of just having a simple sandwich, your world's like a giant size sandwich. It has all these little details, recipes, all these little pieces to it. So as the world starts simplifying itself, it's still complicated, but you don't let all the complications make life difficult. You go more to a simplistic way of reality thinking, and just it helps you relax, connect to your spirit world, and just not worried about anything. Or many are so worried about everything for obvious reasons. Well, society has developed to worry. It's like a bomb to a certain level of human consciousness. Some make things out worse than they need to be. But that's part of the character. It's like, wow, you're diabolical, aren't you? Well, it's some kind of experience. Well, at least it's being mentally thought of and said instead of physically causing difficulties, which is good. Yeah, it's quite the entertaining planet, you can say. But yeah, spirit beings that connect to your world have to be careful not to get pulled in because some spirit beings do get pulled into this reality very easily. Well, they see all what you're going through. And it's like, wow, all these people are worried about everything. I can't wait to incarnate and do the same thing. Greetings, we are the consciousness of the Arctic Circle. Many souls are trying to make peace with themselves. Yes, many want, yes, prove for a spirit being to prove who they are, but it's hard to prove to someone that is shut down already. So humans are designed to be shut down, and obviously it's up to you. So you won't need proof from the spirit realms. Well, it's good to activate yourself first. Because many humans are turned off spiritually, they might not realize it, how much they are. So it's just easier to ask a being to prove themselves to you, but you have to kind of make that connection if you want to advance yourself. And then some beings like, oh, by the way, this is what we did in past life or whatever it might be that you can connect to. But to open up one's spiritual self here is very difficult. It's like you're unlocking a key. And you can say many are kind of scared of it because they feel like they can't more to the spirit realms, and then they learn more about themselves. Like if you have a lot of problems as a human, and you go to the spirit world, and you don't have to have those problems. So it's like humans here is like, I'm not gonna have that. I want my problems. So they keep the spirit world shut down. They keep it off, like automatically turned off. The spirit world does not exist, even if it's in everything. Trees, grass, all things. And yes, a human can experience it on a physical level. That's a nice breeze, that's a nice tree, nice nature, but that's as far as it's going to get. That's as spiritual as we're going to get. And there's nothing wrong with that. At least you're enjoying the energies around you, but it doesn't really matter where you go. It's the tree people. You can say the tree energies are a little bit frustrated with humans, but they have their own problems also. Well, they don't feel like they're appreciated here. They don't feel like humans care about them, so they feel a little bit alone. Doesn't that sound familiar? And some of you out there, some of you feel the same way. So, and there's a whole bunch of trees out there, but they feel like humans are ignoring them. Well, at least they acknowledge their existence. Let's put it that way. And that's not usually how it works here. Well, acknowledge all things, the wind, everything. Doesn't mean you have to walk outside and say, I acknowledge all of you. But you're in your car or walking, you can connect to nature energy itself. Of course, many have much going on in their physical life, of course. But the Arctic Circle is basically connected to the astral plane. It is connected to higher dimensional frequencies. Yes, a more simpler reality. And you're going to hear that a lot, which many humans have trouble understanding. Well, it's basically when you connect to alien beings, when they kind of remove their facial features, and you see a face, but you don't see eyes or nose. We might see a nose, but it's keeping things very simple because they don't need those things anymore. They move to the higher dimensions. Of course, there are higher dimensional beings that look just like humans and going through a lot of their problems. But they take their problems from here and take it to the higher dimensions and deal with it there, but on a higher dimensional level. But overall, the spirit realm is learning a great deal of how to, yes, get themselves out of this. The challenges here. Well, it's like once you incarnate here, yes, you can't get stuck because of the daily life. Worry. You wonder why you incarnate here over, because many are addicted to worrying. They're addicted to, life's dramas. And that's when they come back here. It's like, wow, I'm always worried about, now you left the world. Now I'm worried about my family and all of that. I better go back. So it's this like constant that's part of it. When you're not worried about your family, it's like they'll be okay. I'm gonna go to higher dimensions. I'll send them energy. Everything will be okay. But many souls can't do that. Some are addicted to this Earth's frequency. So it gives you a little bit of understanding of why the world is the way it is. So send you energies, blessings.